Welcome, my friends of the interwebs, and especially welcome to my good friend Jeff and my good friend Mobile Tech. Both guys I have not talked to, actually talked to in a long time, and I miss them, and will have to do my utmost best to contact them in the very near future to see how they're doing. Anyway, listen, I want to talk about the absolute ridiculous fiscal irresponsibility of the Democrats, the liberal nut jobs that are just hell-bent on turning us into a communist state. Listen, I heard Nancy Pelosi babbling on today some incoherent stupidity about how we can't cut this social program, we can't cut that social program, and it made my stomach turn. I mean, the woman just has no clue. None. Zero. I don't understand how anybody in their right mind can think that we can just keep on spending money we don't have. I mean, they're like children. I mean, they're literally, they're like children. I can't for the life of me wrap my mind around where they come from. It's like they think in their mind that there's an unlimited amount of money that can be spent on social programs. It's just insane to me. Here's the thing. Now listen, Nancy Pelosi and her ilk are literally old enough to have been able to remember the Soviet Union. See, here's the thing. In school today, children are not taught anything relevant to the world. History is definitely not something even remotely taught in school. Now, why is that important? Well, if you don't learn from history, you are doomed to repeat it. And my friends, that's exactly what's happening. It's almost like, you see, here's the thing. I'm old enough to remember the Soviet Union. Okay? I'm old enough to remember that whole nightmare that was the communist country of Russia. The Soviet bloc countries. All of the Soviet bloc countries, Romania, Yugoslavia, endless, all the Eastern Bloc countries. The Iron Curtain, I can remember that. I can remember East Berlin, the DDR. I can remember all of that stuff. But what kills me is that they don't teach it in school anymore, and it's important because communism was an abysmal failure. Misery. It was misery. It was prison camps. It was, listen people, okay? They had to build walls and fences, not to keep people out, no, but to keep their people in. What's that tell you, honestly? I mean, to me, it doesn't get any more simple than that. When you have to build walls and fences, armed with guards, with weapons, with authority to shoot, if you have to do that, then your system is flawed. Now, why is that important? Well, because that's the system they want for us. That's the system these Democrats and these liberals want for us. That's why it's important. If you have children that are in school, let me tell you something. Okay, if you can't get them into a decent charter school, okay, if they're stuck in a public school, in a public institution, if that's where they're stuck, and I get it, and I'm not bagging on you for that because, hey, listen, you know, it is what it is. All right, I went to a public school. All right. Hey, here's the thing. It is now your duty to educate your children. Now, it's always been your duty to educate your children, but I'm not going to bag on you about that either. It's your duty to educate your children about things like the Soviet Union, because I guarantee you, unless it's an elective in a high school classroom, which, you know, I don't even know that it is anymore. It used to be back in the day. Back when I was in school, it was an elective. Of course, we all knew, you know, we all knew all about it anyway because we were growing up with it. You know, it was kind of hard for the lefties to brainwash us into thinking that it was a good thing, because we seen on the nightly news people trying to jump over the Berlin fence to get to West Berlin and being shot. We seen people taking chances by making makeshift balloons to try to float over the fence that the East Germans had up. You know, trying to keep the people in. See? We need a fence on our southern border to try to keep people out. I mean, it's that simple. So here's the thing. You know, if you have school-age children, it is imperative. Now, it may be too late. We have a whole generation that have no clue. None. Zero. Zilch. They don't realize that what they're being sold, the bill of goods that they're being sold today by Barack Hussein Obama and Nancy Pelosi and those idiots, Harry Reid, that bill of goods has been bought and sold before. And all it ever does is bring misery. And as far as Nancy Pelosi goes, and this whole idea that she has in her head that, you know, we can't cut this program, we can't cut that program. Okay, this liberal mentality that she has. It's almost like that woman, and she's old enough to know better, but it's almost like that woman has never taken a history class in her life. Has she never heard of the Weimar Republic, or Weimar Republic, or however it's pronounced? Has she never heard of that? Does she not know that when you print yourself into prosperity, all you end up doing is screwing yourself? First of all, you cannot print yourself into prosperity. That's like saying, okay, I got financial problems. I can't pay the credit cards that I have now. So clearly the solution to my problem is more credit cards. That's liberalism 101. I mean, how insane. I mean, just on the surface. You know what? Screw the education. Don't people have the slightest bit of, you know, common sense anymore? I mean, common sense would tell you that that isn't going to work. I mean, but the truth is, as far as the education goes in this country, they have been working on generation after generation after generation. And I hate to say it, to be honest with you, but the quote-unquote greatest generation, you know, the generation that won World War II, you know, I only laugh when I say that, the greatest generation thing, because they did the shittiest job of parenting. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's not fair. But I will tell you one thing. As a whole, that peace and love generation, that baby boomer generation, they're the ones in charge now. Seriously. That's the generation that's in charge now. A bunch of hippie, peace and love, commune living freaks. Freaks! And listen, everybody thought that they grew up and became yuppies in the 80s and they learned that capitalism was so great. No, listen to me. A lot of them did. But a lot of them didn't. A lot of them just bided their time in the universities, writing their papers, getting published in little communist magazines and whatnot, becoming tenured professors, and spreading their nonsense. Literally. That's what was going on. Well, by the way, shaping the minds of the youth of America. Yeah, and yet you see, by the way, the proverbial chickens have come home to roost, as Reverend Wright would say. Those chickens have come home to roost. You know, I don't know. You know, I do know one thing, though. We need to take the education back. We need to take the educational system back, because if we don't, we're just, well, I think we're already screwed. I'll be honest with you. I think we're already fucked. You know, but just in the outside chance that maybe we're not, maybe in the outside chance that we could turn things around, we need to take back the boards of education. Get active. See, here's the thing the left has done so much better than the right. Activism. They're the ones running for school board. They're the ones running for mayor. They're the ones running for city council. You know? Get active. Start getting involved. And demand, by the way, get on your school board. Go to a school board meeting. How many people watching this video right now that have children or had children ever went to just one school board meeting? In the comment section, let me know. If you did, good on you. But you and I both know that you're in the minority if that's the case. I mean, it's a serious minority. Because the truth is, most parents have advocated the responsibility of educating their children to the Board of Education, a left-wing organization. And then you wonder why, you wonder why it's all fucked up. You wonder why they're wearing Che Guevara shirts, worshiping a mass murderer, thinking he's the greatest thing ever. You know, I mean, seriously, it's not rocket science, people. You know, and you're, oh, I pay my taxes. It's up to the, you know, the schools to educate the children. No, it's not up to them to educate the children. It's up to you. You know, I mean, otherwise, when you see these, what's going on, then you can't really complain, can you? You know, everybody likes to complain about, oh, you know, the schools are left wing. Well, when's the last time you went to a school board meeting and demanded a different curriculum? When's the last time you went to a school board meeting and demanded to know why they weren't teaching X, Y, and Z? You know, or why they were teaching X. When's the last time you did that? You know? And, you know, I mean, and by the way, just so you know, I'm not letting the people that don't have children off the hook. Because in the long run, this affects you just as much as it affects the people that have children, because their children that are being indoctrinated will grow up to be left-wing nuts, and they'll have a lot to say. And like I said, the left is very active, unlike the right, on that kind of community organization level. Yeah, keep on poo-pooing that community organization level. See where that got you last time. So, anyway, I just thought I'd talk about that. Nancy Pelosi is an absolute insane person. She is an insane person. I mean, we all know that about the guns, but when it comes to the fiscal stuff, you can't fix stupid. And she is stupid. The bottom line is inflation will come and it will rob you of everything you have. Literally. Because that's what inflation is. Inflation is a thief. It is a thief. Because bottom line, no matter how you slice it, you know, you're going to have to go buy bread. You're going to have to go buy milk. And you're going to have to go buy whatever the heck it is that you need, toilet paper. And if it's costing you 10 times as much, or God knows, that's robbing you. So when I listen to people like Nancy Pelosi spew her absolute nonsense about how, well, we can't give this up and we can't give that up, we can't give this up, we can't give that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Because we can't pay our bills now. So the only alternative is to just crank up the printing presses and devalue the currency. I mean, you know. Anyway, listen, there we go. So, having said all that, let me know in the comment section what you think. Everybody have a good night. See ya!